took the night off yesterday. I was just so dang tired. And we're streaming a little bit later than I normally try something out. We're gonna switch up the schedule a little bit, see if it works a little bit. Try maybe today and tomorrow streaming. Today, like 7 to 8:30 maybe, somewhere in there. I usually go for. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, this is episode 5 of Disco Inferno. We are still playing Disco Elysium. Last time we managed to get the body out of the tree, and we're going to try to conduct our initial interviews today, because I think that Kim still needs some time after. So, yeah, we'll just see. We'll get right to it. Save. Okay, so we got the body out of the tree. I'm trying to remember. I was having some trouble. Key card. That's right. Still. I did do a little bit of research after the stream the other day, and I found out that that key card is only good for letting you. Or, I'm sorry. Letting you out. So we still need to figure out some way. Okay. Initial interview. Let's see here. Who made pay for damages? Closing the trip. Doomed commercial error. So I need to interview. So I need to interview this lady. Let's see, I've got 2 skill points. Let's see. Let's save it.
Fuck does Kuno care? So?
Let's see here. Got my audio. It's a little low.
Yeah, so? Kuno did sick the pigs on him. Kuno's a man of his word.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on. What is this? Trying to be cool with your new asshole? Kuno was just being nice to you. You got fucked bad. Now limp the fuck out of here. After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
Kuno doesn't.
Never Kuno.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Can I not? Nothing we can do with it. Okay, this will do. We'll go talk to lady back here. We'll go look at the buildings again. Just making sure I didn't miss anything.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Oh my, the E-word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator?
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A? 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
Your synapses flesh.
You mean eel's hips. But point taken. I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, light, interminably bourgeois boat. Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. I am glad you see it that way. To repeal the act would mean repealing the coalition government. The one that leases you the right to police West Revachol.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Thank you. That was my lovely better hat. Most of the work kind of. So what they're essentially wanting here is they're demanding share the means of production. Thank you. Let's see. Seems like I like it.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy. Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board. It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
I don't see a problem.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines, Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines Group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them.
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret.
Yeah.
I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
It's completely unaware of the twin.
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Well, let's think about this for a second. They may be corrupt. They may be embezzling a ton of money. They did win their overtime medical. I'd say that they're effective.
Why do you think so?
not really any of the answers I would.
Ha! A real man of the left. What else can I tell you about? I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help?
It's informative.
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
So they're all at once.
Why, thank you.
She nods.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Suggestion. So,
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. Of course, Detective. Take care.
did that clear? Let's see. That's probably not. Let's see. What's wrong? So we did, okay. Got that interview.
Give me a moment. I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways. If you can call it living. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
So I thought that was supposed to give me...
Ask away, policeman. People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died. Hopefully somewhere else.
No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you? Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans. Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. The symbol of what now? Huh. I thought Revachol was the capital. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
Still not.
You hear someone walking around inside. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. You have plenty of reason to enter. Well, that was easy.
That was smart.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see?
Boy, there are a lot of different keys there. More than 20 at least.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story didn't have a happy ending.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards. Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. Of course.
That might be worth investigating. Let's go tell this lady.
Give me a moment. I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. Oh, I do like wizards, and people like that in general. They have a lot to tell us about our fates.
She means clairvoyance.
She seems nice. Okay, so...
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it.
You seem committed to it, so go on.
What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective. Perhaps you should give it another go.
The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
After you, Detective.
So we're just breaking into somebody's house. Someone with guns. I just found...
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads, Kraz Marzov. Honestly, he does kind of look like you after all.
Whoever lives here definitely shares your enthusiasm. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems. Hold on a second. Is this why you broke in here? To find out whether you're Krasmazov? Sure it is.
The lieutenant doesn't even bother to reply to this.
Reason I broke into the apartment. It's in case that there was a piece of clothing. Conceptualization. That. That's really good. Suggestion. What's this? Detect. Not sure what that means.
Yes?
Wait. Okay, so she said that there was two next to each other. Still got time. It's his place. Maybe it's the balcony entrance on the other side. Oh, that's the hole. Okay. Oh, okay.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yeah, you got me now. The dynamic between us has completely changed.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
Red dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. Oh, what? You'll push me off this ledge and pry the bucket from my dead hands? What do I care about some fucking tin eggshells? Ugh, alright, sad piggy. I'll give you this one. I saw a little girl in the fishing village running around with military-grade handwear. Looked cute as hell. If you haven't been there, The village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. Have a good time. No. That's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. Actually, I don't even know why I told you what I just told you. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal thing again. Damn it.
Or a weakness for police officers, miss. Thank you either way.
Was I expecting to just go in then? So now to the problem. Hang on, let's please. Place I haven't been.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal, some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
G'day to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Rivershoal.
The words "daredevil driver" sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. It's supposed to operate the waterlock, but as noted, it's all junk right now. Disabled because of the blockage. Safety measure. Turns out the panel needs a special key to be reactivated. Wouldn't want anyone moving the waterlock with debris still in the channel. It'll be restarted on Wednesday morning. You want to do the honors when the time comes? Great! Just drop in on Wednesday if you want to see the waterlock at work. They say the canal crew will be here at 7:15.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, buy something nice, a figurine. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Which ones? Ah, royalist soldiers from the time of the Revolution. The uniforms are painted a bit too brightly, I suppose.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
A typical Martinez street. The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
I haven't had any problems myself. though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained. Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off-the-charts photon emissions, the unhealthy kind. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it. And of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now.
Of course. Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Selling. Just gonna sell him.
Another time, perhaps.
Let's see. Save this real quick. And then we do a quick wardrobe change. Because I have some clothes out. Screen.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it, and many other things besides. But you can't cut through the jumble of sensations to get to the answer. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues.
I doubt it, but I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
He doesn't know anything.
He's been by the shop a couple of times.
There was something awfully deliberate about that laziness.
They weren't the most pleasant interactions. Small town bigwigs always want everyone to play a part in the play they're staging, but I bowed out at some point. I prefer to watch from afar while the bigwigs come and go. It was all very strange. That forewoman was more pleasant than Evrard, but I guess it's all the same in the end. He tried, wanted to come to some mutually beneficial agreement around my dealings with the dock workers. I politely declined to hear him out.
So you don't know what kind of arrangements he was talking about?
As I said, I refused to talk to him. He purchased a remarkably garish paperweight the first time he was here. Nothing the second.
He nods reluctantly. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing.
Seen him. See here. Really, really hoping. Had to go see Everard. Points to put to listen to
Hello again, officer. Well, this might be the last snow we get. Snow has nutrients in it. Helps everything green up in the spring. At least that's what my grandma always told me.
Yes, think about the cute grandma, not the weird.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Since we accidentally save scammed, I actually just had the wrong on. It's all visual calculus and some stuff to.
The pockets of... Hey, by the way, the raw materials were...
Hello again. How can I help?
Okay, looking at his wares.
Let's go. This time. Let's save it. Let's see.
A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark. Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn to it. Drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with a Tutti Frutti wrapper. Throw it away, please. You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your pocket, lovingly even, despite the strange feeling of regret. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man. From the right, the pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, but not for you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you. Gone.
Hello again. Well, Snow has
Yes, think about the cute grandma, not the...
nitrogen and sulfur mostly. A bit much? What are you talking?
She feels
Relax, miss. This is not an interrogation. We are just checking some facts.
Stop looking at her. Look around. What do you see? That's right. And the canal, the bookstore, the harbor gates. This is a great vantage point for keeping an eye on you.
No, of course not. I don't understand what this is about. The kid did this, right? The red-haired rat? Can't say a sentence without or kipped. He's always giving me trouble. It is because he sent you to harass me, didn't he? You shouldn't listen to him. It was probably him who wrote that.
You've been resting here for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, I'm tired.
I understand. The RCM isn't welcome here, and the locals want to keep an eye on us.
There's silence, the smallest of smiles.
That's okay, miss. Do what you have to do. I think we're done here.
Okay, let's attempt this jump. It's getting late in the day, so we need to get
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own.
Okay, Civic Fair. I assume that's how you say that.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the
We
railing.
should still.
No one has claimed it for their own.
I think I would have better finding measure it. It's like,
No, no. That's...
Sure.
I got to. Sorry if it's a bummer watching this. Having to save and reload. I've got to get in this place. I gotta do it quickly.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own. Nope.
%chance this could take. So that is spending it. That actually would be wizard.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet? Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power, crafting your style, draping your flesh in silken leather, deciding how to present yourself to the world. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, wearing these shoes has made you more liberal, ultra-liberal. They're either a gateway drug or a booster pack to get you deeper into free market ideology. A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own.
Just gonna keep saving scumming this till it works. Now that I know that I had 2 items hurting one, so I may spend a point. See if I can. So what was it? It's the shoes.
Let's hope no one saw you wearing these outrageously expensive and ultra-liberal shoes. A tarpaulin cloak is still caught
But I
on
still
the railing.
have to spend.
No one has claimed it for their own. A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own.
Gosh. Just want to get through this.
No.
7. Oh, I get what those shoes do. They give me an ideology. They give me a fun. Okay. Decided this is how we do it. So let's go and swamp these one more time.
Let's hope no.
Save me.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own. No.
Don't want to spin both. We still have to get this interview done. Still have to go through the autopsy again.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own.
There are times, and maybe this would just defeat the purpose of this game. There are times that I wish that I could just hit a button and succeed on a roll. So. Especially something like this where there's like
A tarpaulin cloak is still
there's 2
caught
ways
on
of
the
getting in
railing.
here that I know.
No one has claimed it for their own.
I'm not good at either skill check. Like 42%.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own. No.
Quality programming here. If you are watching right now, I sincerely apologize for you having to sit through this. It's fucking...
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing. No one has claimed it for their own.
It's a coin flip. I'm like, you...
No.
How many times can I flip heads? Aggravating.
A tarpaulin cloak is still caught on the railing.
Finally.
No one has claimed it for their own. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement below. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable. Must be the adrenaline.
Hell yeah. My climbing might not have been as disco as your jump, but can we still get an aces high?
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
Finally. Close to getting that second skill point too. It's an until list. Examine. Simple. That I don't understand because I do have this. I have the shift card. Should still be able to get out. Definitely. Oh, I lost those shoes altogether. Interesting. Suggestion. Deception.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to prop.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smooth. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol and the same materials being handed over to It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing. You are a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go.
Is that what you're doing with those photos over there? Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes. Special whirling borscht. Water Everard's plants. Sweep off all items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. Remember, Leo, all items on the drawer slide.
Let's go find Everard.
Yes?
It's a lot. Try to click on something and he accidentally gets in the way. Okay. Got my 2 points. Put them. Mission.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream. You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only one stroke? Don't be so modest. He's having one right now. The lyrics to this container song, the accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi.
Container, container.
Let's see. Save the game, let's go talk to him. This is usually where things go sideways, but at least I already know about my gun. I had no idea.
With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong conviction. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan affiliation, buddy. He's got you in a fork.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear... The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost. And when he said, don't worry, he actually meant, be very worried.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Chair.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age...
The big man peers at you over the rims of his glasses for a moment, then interlaces his fingers and rests his chin on his hands.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Of course, let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out. With my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. No matter. No harm done.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Asking too many questions will make you look weak. You should maybe focus on the folder. Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
This translates into, haha, you guys are so corrupt.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
Oh, hello. Sorry, I didn't even notice that there was chat. Yeah, this guy sucks. I had no idea.
I'm
that he
afraid
has a
this is
twin.
meant for union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
As you look at the
Hell yeah.
folder,
I've had
Everard
no
covers
luck
it with his
this
hand
tonight.
and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you saw in the file cabinet.
Okay, Harry, you
Yeah, I
got
figured
me.
he was lying.
This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt. You should do something about them.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi from the Census Bureau. Like I said, now I'm actually a very busy man. So is there anything else I can
This
do
guy's
for you,
such a
Harry?
dick.
That means he doesn't really know anything about you.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he's... Well, and the thing is like, at least how I view him, is he's both super corrupt and effective as a union leader. It's like one of those things, like, yeah, he's skimming money off the top, and he is a giant asshole, but he did get them a medical plan and overtime. I mean, that's what the Wild Pines lady said.
A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yeah, it's like, I kind of feel like him and the Wild Pines representative are sort of opposites. Like, she is a more openly likable person, but I don't like the people she works for, and I agree with the Union, but he's also terrible. And I also get the feeling that the Wild Pines representative is using me in a way, more subtly, in a way that he is being open about. I don't know.
Yes, that
I feel like
sounds
they're
good.
intended to be
Let's do
opposites. Like,
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
yeah, no, shady.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
No, she didn't. I got her on the boat question, but I didn't get anything about her personal history.
Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez. Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about. A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you. Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the
You need to
gate.
talk to
Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here. Yes, we're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you shouldn't work with her just because you and I are such good friends. I'm not a jealous guy.
I found out some stuff about him this time that I've not ever known.
What do you mean, Harry?
Yes.
Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he talks a big game but doesn't actually know much.
Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals. Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting.
Yeah.
Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
That's what I got. I'm more of an intellect psyche guy. Yeah, I day one as far as I've gone.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
This particular brand of humor he has, it makes for a fine distraction.
Yeah, I've had trouble, like, really focusing on one stat above all. It's like, yeah, I know every little detail about every little thing I'm doing, you know, getting all this encyclopedic information, but I have trouble passing any skill checks.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was...
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
What's strange is I already had the Union card. I stole it off the drunk guy, but it still wouldn't let me out that door. I put a point in composure, hoping it would help with that, and it totally didn't. Okay, let's go visit the body. Because I think that was the only thing I was waiting on. Was getting him out of that tree. Or getting that interval out of me. Stairs, wait a minute. Yeah, I failed my composure check. Which was annoying, because... Switches. Oh. What switches? Back out here? Yeah, I have it on. I don't know if it's my monitor or what, but it does not seem to highlight very well.
All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Yes, this scene isn't exactly ripping with joy.
So you're saying... You're saying that there was a switch back here? You're not talking about this area, the control switch?
A rusting allumé on, éteindre, off. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead. moving a massive metal container through the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's like a photo or something that. I was trying to get to the.
And with a surprisingly quiet, the harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again. Now, the rusty control panel.
I can't see how that was.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to the body and do the autopsy before it's too late. These photos.
This is the night watchman's
Oh, okay,
reef.
yeah.
The name on the door.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, Rene, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform. The girl is young and very pretty.
Why did you take that picture of René? You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure. As long as it doesn't take up a whole lot of time.
This is the night.
Yeah, we will go back to the container. I have to come back through talk to Everard again anyway, so I'll check it when I come back. Yeah, I've opened it before. And weird. It's like a capitalist space-time continuum.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Oh, say no more. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. I knew this man was a coming. And it's a good thing you're doing too. Thanks. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this networking, this jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker, see. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
He means he's not going to tell you because he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for Everard. Who he is and what they're fighting for. This is interesting.
It's interesting. Okay. Let's see. So late. I was wanting to get to this way sooner. Weight is down at least. And I hate to run for it on you because I know you just tuned in, but It is getting kind of late here. I started this stream a little later than going for 2 hours now. But I will be back again tomorrow, and we will be playing this game. I'm going to be back at 7 instead of 5, so about 2 hours later than the stream. Just trying to work some stuff out. My streaming schedule and my work schedule jive a little bit better. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Tune in. Otherwise, you have a